Hello, everyone! Welcome to Eldritch Osiris Games.
Welcome.
Oh, I can hear myself. That's great. Yeah, hi, everyone. We are Eldritch Osiris Games. Well, we're just a few members from it. We're the ones who've been bringing you all those PDFs that you've probably seen around Twitter. I did not rehearse an intro, and I probably should have. But yeah, we are super excited to be here. We are announcing and going over the future plans of EOG. We are really excited and nervous, and I hope everyone has a good time. This is in support of Third Party Con, a convention that we helped organize and sponsor, and you can find a bunch of free material over on the Third Party Con website. You can go to, I believe, tpk.com. and you can find all the cool stuff there. This VOD will be up on that website, so if you happen to miss it and you're from the future, hello, 2 days from now. Yeah, without any further ado, I say we hop right into the announcements. Welcome to this keynote. I am James Beck. I am the creative director and manager over at Eldritch Osiris Games. Who are Eldritch Osiris Games? It's a great question. I can hear everyone asking. We're basically a group of nerdy folks who really love Pathfinder, and we want to publish as much Pathfinder 2e content as possible. We swear we're not a hive mind. I keep getting told we are. I'm not sure. But, you know, you got to do what you got to do. Our first announcement is that we now have merch. You can now get Eldritch Osiris Games merch over at bit.ly/mercheog. You can get tons of new shirts. They also come with options for like mugs, stickers, hoodies, a ton of phone cases if you have an iPhone or certain types of Androids. You can kind of get anything you want from EOG from there. It really helps us. And in addition to all that, we can also, we are also going to be uploading new designs. Our lovely internal artists, Victoria, who will be presenting here later, Quinn, and a few other hands helping us out, getting us more Pathfinder 2e merch because we need more Pathfinder 2e merch. Our other big announcement, well, in the litany of upcoming announcements, is that we now have an EOG Discord. You can now talk directly with the staff. You can chat about anything TTRPG or just kind of hang out. You can go to bit.ly/Discord EOG. We are making sure that everything is running up and smoothly, and we've been working really hard to make sure that this server is looking really good. With that, I'm going to pass the mic off, and we get to learn all about what projects are currently going on in EOG. I'm going to hand it over to Matt.
Hi everybody, Matt here. The first thing that I wanted to talk about tonight is Monstrous Beasts, A Guide to Frienddom. Our Kickstarter, which launched last November, was an absolute success. We raised over $9,000 in just a month, and we've got a whole boatload of content planned for this book. From authors within EOG, as well as 15 guest writers, many of whom have either written for Pathfinder 2e publications or Paizo staff themselves. The first thing I wanted to talk about tonight is the Crabfolk ancestry, something that I had written up personally. This group of tight-knit individuals comes together as a rare ancestry. They've got plenty of heritages and feats, ranging from the hermit crab, the desert crab, and the bottom feeder, in addition to a whole load of feats based upon their crab-like abilities such as regeneration, claws, and water-based spells. Next, we have the Metamorph class, one of our stretch goals that we managed to reach back in November. This class combines a lot of shape-shifting abilities and an excellent stance, which gives you plenty of unarmed attack options. The next thing I wanted to talk about is our class expansions. We've got an additional druid order called the Dragon Order, in addition to, I believe, 3 Barbarian Instincts. My favorite one of the 3 has to be the Aerial Instinct, giving you a set of wings whenever you rage at later levels. And of course, we can't talk about Monstrous Beasts without animal companions. We've got over 24 new animal companions ready to join the fray, in addition to new incredible options and specializations. Quite notably, we have the owl bear, quite possibly one of the most iconic animals in Pathfinder 2e, coming to you as an animal companion with a very terrifying screech ability as their advancement option. In addition to that, we are going to be including new archetypes such as the spirit animal archetype, as well as expansions to the cavalier. We're giving new archetype options such as the horse archer, which is going to display a type of weapon style that we haven't quite seen on the cavalier, which is going to be dedication towards bows and archery. We have a bunch of new creatures coming up for this book, which I will be showing you on the next slide. And in addition to that, we've got 2 new adventures, one of which has already been planned out, where an ether spider needs a new home. It found itself residing in a forest, and your group of adventurers is going to need to help it out or put it to rest. Next one. So here is some of the artwork that we already have for the book. We plan on getting artwork for all of our new creatures and creations, but this is a small sample. The Macrati is a 3-headed construct with plenty of acid, fire, and electricity damage ready to destroy some unsuspecting adventurers. The Ash Cat exudes a permanent cloud of smoke around it, both giving it concealment while simultaneously poisoning those daring or foolish enough to get close. And finally, the Pox Frog's many eyes cause unsettlement in those who enter their gaze. It can inflict those that it bites with eye pox, a dangerous disease that can leave its victims stupefied for up to a month. And finally, here's some more artwork that we have. We have the crab folk, as I already displayed before. In addition to that, the Kruth joins the fray as one of the new options for the Animal Instinct Barbarian. And finally, the Gator Folk, one of our other stretch goals, is an ancestry made by the Space Jamber, which is going to be another exciting option. Be careful if you get too close. They've got a powerful death roll. I'm going to pass it to Marcy, who will be talking about the Metamorph.
All right. So right at the top here, we can see our the iconic character for our Metamorph class, the Gripply Ogon, who uses they/them pronouns. So we can see here transforming into a sort of dinosaur feathered velociraptor type creature. I'm really excited about the Metamorph. I think it's a really interesting, fun take on the shapeshifter niche. This is going to be a purely martial class. It centers around a primal aspect, which is this stance that they can enter that gives you one or more of a bunch of different choices of these passive benefits, like increasing your speed, granting you new speeds, granting you resistances, and all that kind of stuff. All the sort of things you would expect shape-shifting into different creatures. Primal Aspect also gives you a special unarmed attack that has a bunch of different stats that you can choose whenever you use it. So you might try a claws attack, realize the enemy is maybe resistant to slashing damage, and without missing a beat, no need to draw a new weapon or anything like that. Just immediately change tactics to slam them with a tentacle or a gorilla fist to deal bludgeoning damage. Like I said, this is going to be a purely martial class. No proper spell casting. We may explore giving them things like optional focus spells, kind of like the ranger and the monk class. But by and large, this is a totally non-spell casting shapeshifter. The class also gets free skill feats, one of its class features. to represent more permanent shape-shifting. Things like you might give yourself claws to dig into surfaces, or sticky fibers like a gecko to gain the combat climber feat, make you better at climbing. If you are more focused on constructs, you might replace the muscles in your legs with pistons to gain the quick jump feat. All kinds of things. There's sort of a set list of skill feats that you'll gain access to, and you are able to swap them out a lot quicker than normal feats. So this class is really focused on being versatile, having a lot of utility, and being able to change tactics very quickly. And then, of course, your subclass, you focus on a specific creature type or a sort of thematic collection of types. You might focus on animals and beasts, like our iconic Ogon, or you might be more interested in plants and fungi, or constructs or oozes. And all of these subclasses, most of them will grant you a bunch of new options for benefits you can gain in your primal aspect stance, as well as giving you that creature type while you're in primal aspect to represent you taking on those features into your body. Of course, there's also a subclass, a physical distinction for humanoid creatures, which is a little interesting. Obviously, not all characters in this class will be humanoid themselves. But even for those that are, the humanoid class called the Face Changer gives you a lot of interesting benefits for subterfuge and social actions. It expands the list of skill feats you can gain, as well as giving you once an hour innate spell to cast humanoid form and transform yourself into any kind of humanoid you might want to pass off as. And as I said earlier, a subclass for fungi plant creatures called the Verdantalist. Some of the examples of benefits that the Verdantalist gives you, you might take tremor sense to detect hidden enemies in combat, get a climb speed by growing vines and thorns, or you can increase your unarmed reach, similar to the first level feat that Leshies get, increasing your unarmed reach at the cost of lowering the base damage of your unarmed strikes. And then, of course, similar to the Gunslinger class, the Metamorph class focuses very heavily on unarmed attacks. They start with a high proficiency in unarmed attacks and unarmored defense, but on the flip side, they are not proficient in armor or weapons, and in fact, like the Gunslinger, their proficiency in all weapons is capped at one step lower than their unarmed attacks. Which also lets us go really wild with what kinds of sort of offensive and defensive ability we can give them, because we know that it's hard to stack. You can't stack it with weapons and stuff like that without losing a lot of accuracy, which means we can really go wild in giving them really interesting, flavorful, and fun abilities to use with their unarmed attacks, and all the different abilities that their shapeshifting gives them. And that's the Metamorph class, and I will be handing it off to, I believe, James with some of our smaller projects.
Thank you so much, Marcy, for giving us that great insight into Metamorph. As somebody who has seen it, it is looking absolutely incredible, and I am super, super hyped to finally be able to play Mystique from the X-Men, as well as live out the Animorphs dream that I know everybody has had. Just to touch on a few of our small books, just because we're working on the upcoming big books does not mean we are leaving you without anything for Pathfinder 2e. We are going to be releasing tons and tons of new material as we continue on. We have such fun titles such as Touched by Fiends, which is a follow-up to our other Eldritch expansion, Touched by Celestials. So we've done Asimar. Now it's time for the Tieflings to shine. We are going to get a follow-up to Symbiote, written by Arid, who will also be presenting later in this, but also written by a friend of the channel, Archon. We are going to get Secrets of the Arcane. If you thought that there was enough arcane magic, well, clearly there wasn't, because we actually wrote a lot for that book. It is currently in layout, and it is looking fantastic. We have a litany of other stuff, such as Monday Monster Volume 3, because Volume 1 and 2 did really, really well, and we are absolutely in love with everything that team keeps sending us. And with that, why don't we start talking about our ongoing projects? These are our projects that we are working on in the background that will take longer for us to develop. Eventually, you'll see them in public, either via a Kickstarter, a crowdfunding, or whatever shenanigans may or may not happen in the future. But these are projects that we have been started working on in late 2022. We've been talking about them for a while, and yeah, I'm actually going to pass it off to Luigi, who is going to be talking about our first book, as I make sure OBS is working with me. And all yours, Luigi.
Hello, everyone. My name is Luigi Lisa Gonzalez, and I am one of the writers of Eldritch Osiris, and I am also the executive art director of the company, which means that I am one of the responsibles for our new brand identity. This beautiful aesthetic that you see in the books, it's because of a team that I work with. And I also am in charge of yelling at James every time I don't like something that I see. This time I will be leading the next Kickstarter project called the Book of Arts, which lets you unleash your imagination with a full of character options for every class, representing both the beautiful and the sublime. This is going to be a crowdfunding fueled project filled with cultural expressions of all kinds, such as fashion, painting, music, poetry, theater, sculpture, you name it. So let's see this in the next slide, some of the things that you can find here. For example, you will see the drawing versatile heritage for those elves, humans, pengus, or any other ancestry that wants to be created from an illustration instead of being born. In that case, you will be able to play as like an idealized version of your culture or your community, or maybe a horrifying version because there is some beautiful horror art out there, or maybe something more cartoonish. It's all up to you. It's a very versatile heritage. We also have subclasses like the Perfumer Alchemist, which specializes in aura effects that may buff your allies or debuff your enemies, the Fashion-Oriented Garment Thaumaturge, and the Imagination Oracle, who can bring their thoughts into reality at the cost of getting lost in their own daydreams. We also have archetypes like the highly mobile dancer, which fits like alluring moves, battle dance, choreographed spell, and ending pose. And we also have the battle-scarred warrior poet, who records their experiences in combat and uses those experiences and those records to create magical effects. We also have a bard class archetype for every tradition other than occults, so you can expect things like a chanter or a tree singer, and a myriad of new items like alchemical perfumes, magical tattoos, cursed paintings, and many more stuff. Also, we're going to include a full reinvention of the first edition Bardic masterpieces. This time, they're going to be represented as consumable scrolls, English, that anyone with a certain proficiency in performance can use to create huge plot-bending events. And just so you get a little teaser about the masterpieces, I'm going to tell you some of my favorite names so you can try to guess what their effects are about. We have the Cloud Waltz, the Elegy for the Death of My Son, the Song of Natural Reclamation, and the Enactment of a Death Foretold. And finally, some of the stretch goals of these projects are going to include tons of illustrations by artists of many different styles, and real poems and music sheets based on the masterpieces. So that's all for now, but you can expect more news about this in the future. Thank you.
All right. I guess it's my turn to step up. Hello, I'm Aaron. I am the resident math person and assistant in foundry needs for Eldritch Osiris games. And I also write for the co-op. I guess to kick off my side of things, I've been working on this project called the Book of War, kind of a somewhat a smaller companion piece to the Book of Arts. This will cover a different take on the settlement / kingdom building management simulator that you might see something in the Kingmaker Adventure Path. Something that's a lot more connected to the Pathfinder 2nd Edition system itself, rather it being a system agnostic, isolated system. To begin with, I will be going much more in depth with the structures and the sorts of like settlement qualities that you can create as you expand your settlement. For example, we have a series of traits and architectures that you can assign each of the structures that you build, such as the personnel, magic, and alchemical traits. And then we have the opulent, imposing, and rudimentary architectures. And between those, you can really get a nice fit for the kind of settlement that you're going for. Beyond that, I'm a fan of real-time strategy games, and I'm also a fan of war games, like some of you may have heard of Warhammer. And I like to be able to customize and create these armies that I can then use to sort of play out a much more in-depth battle that is normally not offered as a like standalone system within Pathfinder. So that is going to be the next subsystem, is this sort of mass combat, and how not only will that interact with the troops and the platoons of these like massive armies, but also how do the heroes lead these armies? How does the party fit into this sort of grand scale combat? And of course, since the system is being made, we're going to make a troop bestiary to really expand the sort of underutilized troop subtype of creatures in Pathfinder. They're an amazing tool to sort of bring up the weaker creatures in the bestiary to still provide a threat to your party. Beyond that, we will have the archetypes based on the military roles. So we get things like the war mage, and then we're thinking about a weapon master archetype, someone who's just themed around using as many different weapons as possible, the ultimate switch hitter. And there's going to be a few more that we'll keep to ourselves for now. And then beyond that, we have items surrounding this settlement building and large-scale combat. So we will be vastly expanding siege equipment, and then, of course, providing some new weapons and shields to perhaps your troops might be able to use. We can go to the next slide to take a peek at some art and the names of some of the things that we're working on. And of course, we do want to mention the Warlord made by Archon. It's a fantastic class, going back to things like 4th edition, and allows you to help out your companions do better in their combat scenarios. So we can go on to the next slide and take a look at another passion project of mine, rune casting. So I myself am a fan of Vancian casting and the different kinds of casting that you can find in Pathfinder 2nd Edition. However, I always thought maybe there could be something more, something just totally sort of breaks the status quo for Pathfinder. And so thus began this idea of just completely getting rid of spells and spell slots entirely and sort of replacing it with a skill casting based system. Some people call it word casting. There's some other names for it, but essentially it will be built around, say, rolling an initial skill check to see how well you perform the magic that you're trying to do, and then the magical effect occurs. So you may try to launch out your bolt of earth and stone at your enemy, and you may perform it so well that you actually automatically heighten it to the next tier. Yeah, and so it will be split up into a hierarchy of first runes, of which there are 15. I can leak a few of them, such as cold, flesh, light, gravity, and void. And each of these runes has a set of basic techniques. For now, I'm sitting at around 3 to 5 basic techniques for each rune. And then from there, as each class progresses, they will unlock access to the greater techniques of the runes, and then eventually the major techniques of the runes. Of course, since every single spellcaster is built around spellcasting, every single spellcaster will have its core class features and many of its feats totally rewritten. It's quite the undertaking, but I'm confident that we can still retain each of their class identities while still adapting them to this new resourceful system. And I already have an idea to sort of fill in many of the feats that will be lost due to spellcasting being dropped out, and that is combination techniques. It's where, say, oh, I want to take cold and combustion to make some sort of steamy fog effect. That would be an example of a combination technique that you would take as a feat, probably lower level. And that way you can sort of build your own casting style throughout the course of your character's progression. And we can go to the next slide to take a peek at some sample art of some more of the runes that we're thinking about. And yeah, I hope you guys look forward to that. And we'll pass it on to Vic.
You know, I was staring at the mute button, getting ready, and then I forgot anyway. Anyway, my name's Vic or Victoria. I am a writer at EOG, and I also contribute a lot of art as well. And Blood of Rivals is the project that I'm directing. Very excited about it because it's focused on two of my favorite things about TTRPGs. Religions and planes. So this book is going to be pretty ambitious. First of all, we're going to be adding a lot of new lineage feats for planar scions. So Asmar, Tieflings, Afrites, and Gonzi. So there's going to be a variety of abilities that will allow you to emulate the specific abilities of specific planar beings. So for example, there's one of them that emulates the Thana Demon's focus gaze and basically allows you to demoralize people with a gaze attack. That's just one of the probably 15 or 20 that I've written. And so those are super exciting. Next, Aftermath feats. I've written several Aftermath feats that are tied to specific encounters with planar beings like Solar Angels, Nabasu Demons, and that will basically allow you to create characters that have really clear ties to those planes and those planar beings without necessarily being a tiefling or being an Aasimar. I love Aftermath feats because they're basically built-in storytelling. So I had a lot of fun writing those. Let's see. Next. Oh yes, the homebrew deities. I am writing a completely original homebrew pantheon. That is going to span a variety of deific focuses that you can use in a homebrew game. Maybe you don't want to play with Galarian for some reason, and you want to have a pantheon of new gods that represent different things. So I'll talk a little bit about an example of those here directly. But in addition to the deities, there will also be new pantheons, like the ones that they have in Galarian, new paladin oaths, new religious orders. Deities are hard to write. They're hard to come up with on the fly because they're complicated. So really excited to kind of add to that library of material for you guys to use in your games. And finally, angelic, demonic, axiomatic, and anarchic character archetypes. So maybe you don't want to play a tiefling, maybe you don't want to play an Aasimar, but you want your character to be, let's say, imbued with the specific power of a plane. Maybe you want a character that really just exudes lawfulness or exudes chaos. Those archetypes will allow you to build that into your character without having to just be like, yeah, I'm kind of crazy. Woohoo! Like, you literally have that chaotic energy built into you. Let's go ahead and go to the next slide. I want to give you a little bit of a peek at the deities. So here's a couple of the deities that I have written. These are their holy symbols. It's Grianne the Smolder Mother and Irislag the Immolation. They're actually siblings. Grianne is a goddess that focuses on agriculture and essentially the productive parts of fire. The ways that fire can help foster life. Irislag, the brother, is more emulates the destructive parts of fire and the ways in which you can use fire to cause damage to things. So super excited about them, and there's going to be many, many more. So let's go to the final slide. Here's just a few pieces of art that I've contributed that kind of give you an idea of what kinds of things we're looking at. In particular, the Pit Fiend, Halfling, Tiefling. There's lots of different kinds of fiends, lots of different kinds of celestials, and I'm hoping with the art that we kind of are able to illustrate literally the differences that you might have from a tiefling who's descended from a Barbazoo versus, a Thana demon. They look different. They're going to look different. So that's just kind of what we're going for with that art. So that is me done, and I will pass it off to the next presenter. Thank you for listening.
Well, that brings us on to a current passion project that I've been working on, Creatures of the Night. It is a project that I've wanted to work on since Book of the Dead, and we are super, super excited to be bringing it. It is going to be a little bit farther down the line than some of these amazing other projects. I am super excited for everybody. But Creatures of the Night will give us expansions on all of the stuff that has to do with undead or, creatures you typically find in your horror tales. They give it kind of like a fun little expansion on Book of the Dead. You're going to have new stuff for Changeling, Dampier, Flesh Warp, Fetchling, Skeleton, Reflection. We're going to give you a whole bunch. And because we know you love skill feats, you're going to get more occult-based skill feats. And we're not only talking about for the occultism skill. We're going to get a lot of cool new stuff. We're going to be expanding on all of the undead archetypes that you could find in the Book of the Dead. And then as well as we will be giving you new undead creatures. I know Paizo has published a lot and a lot of undead and a lot of horror monsters, but there's still a lot more out there. And with the help of the lovely Space Jamber, who's been helping me behind the scenes to make sure that this book is going to come out amazing, we are going to give you tons and tons of new options. If you want to go more for a Ustalav, next Geb, those are all the Galarian terms I know that have to do with dead things. And yeah, it is going to be really, really cool, very, very spooky, a lot of Halloween vibes. On this next slide, we have just a few of the cool options that we're going to be seeing in the book, such as the new Lich Patron for witches, a skeleton with the Grim Reaper archetype, and the Reanimator. The Reanimator can be found originally in Book of the Dead. However, we know those necromancers still love more dead things, and hence we are going to be expanding on the Reanimator archetype. That's going to bring us to Simply 2E, PF2E, the book. Now, Quinn Stone, who has been working with EOG for quite some time now, has decided, hey, let's put this in a book. And we already released volume 1, but we are going to be getting all of Quinn's amazing work into one tome that is going to be printable. You can use it wherever you go for all your PF2E games. It is so, so good, and I am so incredibly excited for it. Quinn is an amazing artist and really knows 2E and how to explain it perfectly. If you don't already see their Monday, Wednesday, Friday posts, you can go to simplypf2e.com where you can see a ton of free resources for your Pathfinder 2E game. I am so hyped. I can't just keep it in anymore. Now, we at Eldritch Osiris Games would be nothing without our collaborations. We work with a ton of awesome people daily to get us a bunch of cool stuff. We sponsor streams. We are so incredibly excited to talk about not only what we're doing at EOG, but also to let you know what our collaborators are doing with EOG. I am super, super excited. So let's just hop right into it. First is Waffles Maple Syrup. Now, we have been friends with Waffles Maple Syrup for quite some time. We have been sponsoring their Outcast and Outclassed show. It is really, really good. And we are not going to say what this title is, as it's still in development, but this is all of the hints you will get. For the meantime, we are super, super excited. I'm going to be working on this book. I can already tell a few names that are going to be on it, and I am so incredibly proud of it, and it has not even, really even got out of the draft phase. It is awesome. Moving on from Waffles Maple Syrup, our friends over at Monday Monsters have decided, with a little bit of help from EOG, we're going to be presenting Monday Monsters, a Menagerie of Menace. This will be 100 new monsters for Pathfinder 1st Edition, 2nd Edition, and Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition. And now, technically, Project Black Flag from Kobold Press. We are super, super excited to be bringing this to you. It has a lot of really cool creatures. You can get Monday Monsters Volumes 1 and 2 right now on EldritchOsirisGames.com. This is going to have monsters for every type of environment, level of play. All of the artwork is gorgeous, by the way. I have gotten a sneak peek at what's going to be in Volume 3, and I'm super excited. And we are also going to be giving you full Foundry VTT support for Pathfinder 2nd Edition, and depending on some stretch goals and, things here and there, we'll potentially get more and more Foundry support, as well as maybe some other VTTs. This will be an ambitious project. Monday Monsters has been working very, very hard with us to make sure that this project will go smoothly, and we wanted to show off as well a little bit of art that's going to be coming in the upcoming book. This is the Witch Willow. You could find this one in Monday Monsters Volume 2. The Enamirigia. If I mispronounced that, I'm sorry. I have dyslexia. It gets things quite difficult to pronounce. But the art is gorgeous. You can find this in Monday Monsters Volume 2. And The Wedded Beast, a zombie that has managed to fuse with its bride and husband into one. And you can find this in Monday Monsters Volume 1. I'm super, super excited to be getting you this project. Now, this upcoming book is going to be a personal favorite of mine, and this is what I've been working on in the background. This is Mech Finder. Ladies, gentlemen, and non-binary pals, I and a couple other friends over at EOG and Andrew Hooper from Lost Caravan RPG, we have been working tirelessly together to bring us Mech Finder. This will be fully compatible with Pathfinder 2nd Edition. You can use everything from EOG, from Paizo, Sinclair's, you name it, and it's Pathfinder 2nd Edition, it's going to be compatible with it. You are getting mechs. We love mechs. I love mechs. I am a very big Pacific Rim fan. I'm super, super excited. We're writing an all-new setting to go along with it. We're going to be using something called Snap, or System Neutral Alternative Plug and Play. You can use this lore in your Lancer, your Fate, you name it. That's another mech-based game. This project's ambitious. I'm not going to lie. I am at 7,000 words in the draft, and I'm not even done. You got new archetypes, you're going to get new weapons, and we are so excited. I am like freaking out about this. We are hopefully going to get a playtest document out. I first need to finish writing the thing first, and then we can get something out to the public, and it is so cool. I've been doing a lot of research for mechs recently. Luigi has been making me watch Evangelion. I'm on episode 5. No spoilers, please. This show is actually legit interesting. Gundam's up next. We are going to be introducing new creatures for you to face because you are a 65-foot tall mech. You obviously need new creatures to fight, so we're going to have stuff as the Constructed Pit Fiend. Just your typical stuff, that you would find in a galaxy of adventure. Pretty sure I just stole that from somewhere. Who cares? Alright, let's see some artwork. Now, this artwork was, I gotta give a shout out to Ashton Speary, or at who drew this. I saw some of their artwork on Twitter. I asked personally if we could use some to show off Mech Finder, and they sent me this. I am so proud of this. That is a gunslinger with a sniper, Ray of the Sniper frame. You also have a Cloistered Cleric frame and a Champion Paladin frame. We are giving you mechs, more mechs, and Mech Finder is going to be incredibly in-depth. Like I said before, you're going to get everything PF2E related, meaning you're going to get Investigator mech. You're going to get a Kineticist mech. I'm going to be like Oprah, just handing out mechs everywhere as I fly by the, the screen. And yeah. I just wanted to say thank you everyone for being here and sitting for our keynote. We are going to go to a quick little roundtable, answer some Q&As. We know that you probably have a lot of questions, and we are going to try our best to answer them. And you can ask about any project that we announced, any upcoming plans, our favorite setting in Galarian, because I'm sure I can name one more. Vic will kill me if I can't name at least 2. So, the typical stuff. And yeah, let's go to the round table. All right, EOG. Well, we have just announced a lot of new books, so obviously we're really excited. How are we feeling right now? Any particular project that maybe not be our own, that we're maybe collaborating with, that we're excited to, be working on?
Yeah. Now, James, before we get into brass tacks, I do have to ask, if you can name one more location in Galarian.
I could name a few. I'm a Paizo freelancer. Numeria. That's
I knew
one.
you were going to say Numeria.
Numeria is the best.
That's on us. We set the bar too low.
Hey, it was a passable bar. Katapesh, Milwaukee Expanse. You can ask any
Is that how it's
question.
pronounced?
I don't know. Someone at Paizo yell at me. But yeah. Feel free to ask us any questions in the meantime. Luigi, what is gonna be like another project that you're helping us with? Maybe that's not the Book of Arts that you're collaborating on, that you're perfectly excited to be working with.
Well, right now I am giving feedback on the Book of Arts and also rune casting, so you can ask about Aaron about my kind of feedback there. Also, what am I doing? I don't know. I have a long list of things that I am doing, and I had to erase my whiteboard in order to protect the NDA.
All right. Matt, what about you? What tickled your fancy, so to say?
About what? Just the whole thing in general?
Well, you're working on a multitude. Guys, Matt is a very, very busy person. Currently, Matt's been focusing a lot on monstrous beasts. It is incredible the work that Matt has pulled off. Let's see.
I think something that's in Monstrous Beasts that I did contribute to that I didn't mention earlier is that we're gonna have a table full of encounters filled with some of the creatures that we had, in addition to the ones already in the first three bestiaries, that will be there for GMs to use as sort of a guide in order to create some of those encounters. And I have them for low, moderate, severe, and I believe extreme as well. So you'll have plenty of options there, and they're varied too. So don't you worry about that. Other than that, I think I have to plead the fifth on my other projects. But...
by the way, Envious Demon, yes, you can ask Marcy. Can you, Marcy? The answer is always yes. We stand Marcy. I hope that's a friend.
I think that was a
weird.
response. Yeah, I think that was a response to me asking if you could name a location.
we do this as like a trivia thing. We go around the room saying one place.
Can you name one place in Galarian?
Vic wins that.
For $5,
That's not fair.
name a woman.
What can I say? This is why you hired me.
That's true.
Yeah.
We literally approached Vic early on in EOG's history. It'd just be like, we need a Galarian expert, and we know that you'd fit the role perfectly. Vic, what about you? You are an artist on Monstrous Beasts and has been contributing all over the company. You also working on all the Blood of the Fiends, which will be coming out soon. Sorry, Touched by Fiends. So what about you? What are you really excited to see from EOG?
I mean, I'm super excited about Mech Finder. I've not done a lot on it, but James has sent me a lot of writing, and I've kind of injected a little bit of, I've got my fingerprints on it a little bit.
You could say you rewrote a good chunk of it. My ego could take.
I mean, I won't say I wrote it. I'm just saying.
Perfected it, maybe.
That sounds good. We'll go with that.
all the rough edges.
Yeah.
Many rough edges.
And we also glossed over it, but I'm also really excited about the Adaros ancestry. I wrote all of the flavor text for that, and that was really fun, mostly because I got to learn all about sharks. So sharks do some cool stuff. They're shark people. If you don't know, they were in 1E, and we're going to produce a 2E version, and they're super cool, and so I can't wait till we get that out to you guys.
Shark folk always need more love.
I agree.
You should. I wish I could share the draft right now of just the. Vic literally wrote 2 pages, like filled up 2 pages on Google Docs of flavor. I am incredibly. This is why I go to anytime I need flavor text, it's gonna be Vic. Like, hands down. Easy go to. All right, Aaron, you are working on a ton of stuff with the EOG. I think you have your
Yeah.
fingers pretty much in every pie.
Yeah, I like spreading myself too thin. It's just what I do. But I'm very much looking forward to Book of Arts. I love adding flavor and culture to my games, and I might buy the book myself. I like it that much. Yeah, that's something that I've been keeping an eye on a lot.
If it was morally okay with me to share DMs, I would be pulling up Luigi's DMs right now of him like freaking out every time he comes up with a new idea for Book of Arts and gets to tell me about it. The passion behind that man is astounding.
It's insane.
I really think this is, I could say there's a book that feels like talking to Luigi, it's Book of Arts. It is going to be
Absolutely.
incredible. Luigi, by the
100%.
way, I don't know, just going off when we were talking about making this this keynote, and we were talking about what would be in the Book of Arts. Luigi literally said, I want the book to look like this, and it's gonna have like this kind of layout, and then we're gonna get these artists over here, and we want this style. And and it was like, I sat there and just like, no, this book is gonna be insane. Luigi's book, I could tell, like, you can see when gears are turning in Luigi's head, and this book is gonna be that incarnate. I'm really, really excited for it.
Well, in my perspective, art has to be challenging. It has to make you question things. It has to bring a statement. So if the book does not bring a statement just by the way it looks, then how can it be called a book of art?
I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. Luigi
That's deep.
is, yeah. Look, this is why I keep Luigi around. He's just so cool to talk with. But yeah, I don't even know what I would say is my favorite. I'm working with almost every one of you on each of these projects. Maybe
It's you can say Mech Finder. It's okay.
okay.
We know it's
Look. Look, Mech Finder, while ambitious, still has a co-writer for a reason. I still gotta help out with all these other books, and I gotta write Creatures of the Night. Like, it's one thing at a time. I am so excited. James, what is your secret to managing so many projects? Being crazy and unemployed. That is the two things. That's the two things you need.
Yep.
And
energy
never
drink.
sleeping.
No sleep now.
Yeah. This machine is running on caffeine, pure energy, and honestly a love for Pathfinder 2nd Edition and anything related to Eldritch Osiris games.
And
We opened...
unmedicated ADHD.
Hey, that changed as of 2 weeks ago.
Oh, there you go. And medicated ADHD.
Hey,
Now it's
what
targeted.
did they give you?
I'm not gonna say that out loud. Well, I can't even pronounce
You don't
it.
want to
That's
share
why.
your prescriptions with a live
No, I
studio
just can't.
audience?
I'm dyslexic. I can't read. That's half the issue. I'm gonna butcher it.
That
yeah.
and energy drinks.
Yeah, that.
Surprisingly, yes. But yeah, I'm so excited. And Mech Fighter, while is my passion, I think I'm honestly excited for Blood of Rivals. Vic and I had a really long conversation about what we wanted to see in this book going forward. By the way, Vic's writing speed is incredible. Wrote so many deities that I think it was at like 3 a day at one point.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I'm up to. I mean, I've also started a new Fey Court. So if you're into the Eldest, there's also a new Fey Court.
Yeah, I
Love
told
some
everyone.
Eldest.
So that'll just
go-
be in another book, I guess. I don't know. Like, we're just gonna have to write a Fey
Stick
book.
it somewhere. Book of the Fae coming 2026.
That sounds about right.
Question mark.
Do we have timelines on these products?
What's a timeline? I mean,
Oof.
Hey, these are long-term projects, all right?
That's fair. That's fair.
We have an eternal timeline, but you know, things can get crazy. and life.
We have as much of a timeline as James does in her brain.
Kinda.
Well, if you want to
It-
talk about something else that doesn't have a timeline, we might or might not release the Adventurer's Handbook 2 in 2023.
That's true. I
Yeah.
didn't put that on there. We might in the very near or far future be releasing the Adventurer's Handbook 2. If you don't know about Adventurer's Handbook Volume 1, that had 30 new skill feats. It was literally Luigi's and I's like first collab project, and that started well before EOG was ever opened. And getting that out was a dream and a half. And it's got like tons of cool options. And I ever since that first book was released, guys, I cast message, and that's the sound it makes.
What a goofy little sound.
You
I love
can you can hear it. It's a Gears of my brain. It's just little xylophones just constantly playing. But yeah, I think that answers all of chat's questions. I am so excited to be bringing this to everyone. And stick around for more EOG in the future, as this was just our first stream. We are going to be doing a lot more with Twitch. Matt is our Twitch director, and so I have less stuff I need to worry about, which is going to be a lifesaver. And yeah, thank you so much for being here. If you're watching this during Third Party Con, I hope your events are going well, and on the time this airs, which will be Friday, according to the TPK timeline, tomorrow will be an EOG and Legendary Games collaboration. It has Luigi and Matt, as well as my friend Dido and Hooper. Hooper is also the one working on MechFinder. Everybody's playing mediums, and we are playtesting the first adventure and Monstrous Beasts and A Guide to Friend Them. So not only are you going to get spoilers from Monstrous Beasts, you're going to get to see Luigi's amazing class in action with some help of Legendary Games. It is already recorded and it looks amazing. Check it out. I hope everybody has a great con, and we will see you really soon with our next stream.
Wait, before we end, I have one last thing I'm excited for, which is it was on the slide, we didn't shout it out. Weapon Masters, there's a fishing rod.
Oh my god, I totally blanked on Weapon Masters. Coming soon to
Coming
Pathfinder
soon.
Infinite.
Fight with a fishing rod.
Yep.
It's true.
Reel them in, baby. All right.
Gotta have the fishing minigame.
True.
Yeah.
This is what Fishblade was all about. It was about EOG the entire time writing that archetype. Make all your Minecraft dreams come true. Thank you so much, and we hope to see you really soon.